I know so many people who complain about their jobs, what they do, and who they work with. I hear endless stories about men who chase married women around the office and married women who cheat on their husbands, as well as the usual liars, gamblers, and those who climb the career ladder. These stories always involve unreasonable bosses, unpaid overtime, and so many teenage coworkers that I can't keep track. For a long time, I found these stories funny. It was like a scary story told around a campfire. It wasn't real. It was just otherworldly nonsense meant to scare and amuse. That was until it became very real, and the pain hit very close by. My name is Ben Gregory. I'm 29 years old, and I'm a civil engineer by trade. I design bridges, roadways, and the like. My wife's name is Alexandria, and she addresses me as Alex. She's a year younger than me, works as an office manager at a small law firm, and I adore her. I've never cheated on Alex, would never cheat on her, and I trust her completely. Our life isn't too interesting, but it has everything we want. I wake up in the morning to find her sleeping peacefully next to me, and a couple days a week we manage to get to bed early to talk, cuddle, and make love. If there is a better life, I don't know it. Here's what may be the best part of my story. Somehow, and I honestly don't know how, my wife and I managed to find jobs where we avoid all the office drama. We've both found jobs in great offices with great people who have become real friends to us. So our lives are pretty boring, right? How do I know about all this teenage office craziness? Well, no job is perfect, and there are a few rotten apples in every barrel. Besides, we have neighbors, and neighbors have friends. We also belong to several clubs, gardening, biking, etc., and a gym. It is inevitable that from time to time we run into someone who doesn't know how to behave. I truly believe that most people are nice, but it seems that at every party or get-together there is always that asshole you look at when he is talking to your wife. For example, she told me to never let one neighbor leave her alone. He once cornered her in the kitchen and she doesn't trust him. As long as she keeps him under control and he behaves, he can keep his teeth pulled. Someday, if he goes too far, he'll lose them. I made that promise to myself, so, as you can see, I trust my wife, but I take these assholes seriously. It was Friday night. Alex and I were going out to dinner and dancing with friends at one of the better hotels in the neighboring town. We try to get out for a simple dinner once every 2 weeks and a dance once a month, and sometimes it's just fun to get out of town. I'm a terrible dancer, but I love holding my wife in my arms, moving to the music and trying my best not to step on her toes. When we get together with good friends who share our values, it's not uncommon for us to switch partners for a dance or two. I dance with a friend's wife, and my friend dances with Alex. It's all quite normal. We were with two couples, Sean and Debbie O'Malley and Ned and Janet Davis. Sean is another engineer where I work, and Janet handles billing and payroll. I was dancing with Debbie when she nudged me. Don't look, but isn't that Barbara Perkins coming in? And isn't that her husband David she came in with? How can you not look when someone says, "Don't look"? We turned slowly on the dance floor until I saw the object of Debbie's interest. And yes, it was Barbara. And it wasn't her husband. In a normal situation, that wouldn't have meant much. David could have parked the car. The guy could have been her brother or cousin. Except I knew in the office that David was out of town on company business. And judging by the way she looked him in the eye and pressed his hand tightly to her chest, we quickly ruled out the brother or cousin option. We decided to remain inconspicuous for now, keep to the shadows and see what would happen. For the next half hour, we made out a lot at the table, pawing at each other and rubbing against each other on the dance floor. Soon, all 6 of us had had enough. We tried to ignore it, but it was literally the elephant in the room, or at least the trunk of an elephant. David was our friend, and we didn't like what we were seeing. We didn't like it one bit. After a while, we retired to a quiet corner of the bar, just down the hall from the music, where we could talk, and we began to discuss what we should or should not do with Barbara and her very friendly companion. As luck would have it, the bar had a great view of the elevators that led to the hotel rooms on the upper floors. I honestly don't know what we would have decided if it had ended there, but about an hour after we retired to the bar, we saw Barbara and her very good friend enter the elevator and go up to the 7th floor. The only thing there were hotel rooms, that is, rooms with beds. We all looked at each other. Not a word was spoken. There was no doubt in anyone's mind. Barbara was cheating on our good friend, and we were in the unpleasant position of knowing it. What to do at a time like this? If I were David, I would certainly want to find out, but would he? We briefly considered what he already knew, but David is not a swinger. Opinions at the table were divided. The men wanted to tell David. The wives said, "Stay out of it. It's none of our business." Husbands have a knack for saying the wrong thing at the worst possible time, and I'm no exception. I said to my wife, "So if I was leaving you with some whore, you wouldn't want your friends to tell you about it?" All I did was ask a question, but the drive home that night was freezing cold. I suppose I was not the only husband who had a conversation with his loving wife that evening. For reasons of self-preservation, I avoided the topic on Saturday. Sunday afternoon, I got together with Sean and Ned, and by then we had only one topic of conversation. What to do about David? The thing is, we all like David. He's a great guy. He's the kind of guy who will drop what he's doing to lend you a hand, listen to you when you're pondering a technical problem, and give you the shirt off his back if you need it. We thought we liked Barbara, too, but things were changing fast. There's always someone who thinks faster than me, or maybe a lot of people think faster than me. But I was still surprised when Sean pulled out his cell phone and showed us a series of pictures and videos he'd taken unbeknownst to us. They started with Barbara making out at the table, and then dancing with her good friend. Sean then showed us a video of the two lovers walking hand in hand to the elevator. Ned got straight to the point. "Sean, this is a divorce you're holding. You know about it, right?" "Yeah, what am I supposed to do with it?" "Ben said it Friday night. If you were David, would you want to know?" "Damn right I would. First, I'd want you to get my guns out of the house. But after that, I'd want to know." I looked at both of my friends, and we were all thinking the same thing. We can't stand by and watch her cuckold our good friend. We need to know, and we'll think about how to get our wives involved when we're sure. Sean, Ned, and I have decided that this is a job best left to the professionals. I told you I have great friends, and we were willing to spend some money to help one of them out. I contacted a private investigator named Harvey Madison, and we met with him on Monday afternoon. Harvey was all business. He listened to our story, watched the videotapes, asked pointed questions, and thought before giving his opinion. The first opinion was the expected, "This is going to cost you." We knew. This David must be a good friend, or do you have other reasons for doing this? We assured him that it was only a friendship and we would be happy if we were wrong. In fact, we wanted to be wrong. Heck, we weren't wrong and we knew it. Harvey knew it too. There are two ways to do this. The first is perfectly legal and will probably cost you the most. The second is quicker and may provide evidence you can't use in a divorce case. But if we're lucky, it may not cost you as much. Plus, it's more reliable. In any case, I can get unequivocal evidence of adultery, but it's unlikely you'll be able to use it in court. Anyway, it's a no-fault state, and I'll be breaking the law a bit. Well, we liked the guy, but we weren't rich. Let's hear the second option first. I'll give you a GPS tracking device that you'll place under the bumper of her car. Can you do that? We all nodded. It was simple enough. She kept her car in the garage, but one of us could go borrow something and tag her easily enough. Tagging her car isn't exactly legal, but it means we won't have to spend as many hours watching and tracking her. We'll know when she's on the road, and it'll be easier for us to keep track of her. We all nodded like fools, looking at each other and mentally writing checks from our accounts. Do you have any idea when she'll try this again? We knew. David was in a rough phase of his latest project. Construction was behind schedule, so he was meeting with site management and doing his own inspections on weekends while the construction crew worked all week. He had to leave town again this Friday morning and wouldn't be home until Sunday. I'll tell 2 members of my crew to be ready to go by Friday night. You will secure this device firmly to the chassis of her car. Then we'll follow her wherever she goes. Harvey decided to use a team that could impersonate the couple so they could move freely around the hotel without attracting attention. Apparently, he had done this before. What happens if that asshole gets behind the wheel? He probably will, but she'll meet him somewhere first. My people are good. They won't lose them. And if there's any chance of tagging his car in the process, I'll just charge you for another beacon. With any luck, it's a one-night job. If we need a second night, tagging his car